So is it bad that the long range, that the vertical line is no longer at the equilibrium once it's been shifted?
That's just your new long run equilibrium point. So that means potential GDP. You guys have heard. You guys have heard about that,
if
right?
It shifts. It doesn't matter
It's our new potential. So if equilibrium, but in the short run, is here, it means we still have some work until we can get over here. And that's what Keynesian. That's why he proposed have government spending and things, because yeah, it'll settle. He said it'll settle at equilibrium, but sometimes it settles below where you want it to settle. You want it to settle over here where our potential GDP is.
He wanted it to stay high like that, rather than drop down to.
Well, he wanted it to settle over here. That's where he wanted it to be, instead of right here. He wanted it over here. Like the Great Depression, yeah, it found an equilibrium point, but let's say this, it was right here, where he wanted it. GDP could be way bigger over here, and people could be way better off. Their standard of living could be much higher over here than
and
right
we want
here.
the price levels to be high.
No, that's inflation, but we want GDP to be high.
So
Because the more GDP you have, the less unemployment you have.
Did he necessarily care whether it was down here or up there?
It's always better to have lower prices, just for I don't know. That's my opinion. I may be wrong, but I think if you have lower prices, if your inflation is low, because high inflation is a bad thing.
Oh, yeah,
that
totally.
decreases your standard of living, right? Because there's less you can buy. So the average inflation is like 3% per year.
Yeah.
But they want to keep it low because high inflation is bad.
Is there any?
But also deflation is really bad too. Germany. Really bad deflation.
I understand. I feel like I understand really well how inflation comes about. Like you add money to the system without increasing the GDP. Like the purchasing power of that money is going to go down.
Yeah, that's
and
the
which
supply of money.
makes the prices go up.
There's a good balance. It's called. Have you guys gone over the Phillips curve yet?
Yeah,
That sounds familiar.
You have.
that's the one that like starts on the corner and then it
Yeah, it's
yeah.
real quick. The Phillips curve. Unless you guys want to go over it in more depth. The Phillips curve. It's like this. This is inflation. This is unemployment.
Those are two really bad things.
Yeah, but there's a trade-off. You're either gonna have, there's a combination. You can't just have neither. You know what I mean? So the higher inflation is, the lower unemployment is. Like, yeah, you can scale back unemployment, but as you keep scaling it back, inflation's gonna grow. You can deflate the dollar. You can have lots of deflation, but the lower inflation gets, the higher your unemployment gets.
I don't see the correlation.
Basically, okay, let's think about it on a graph.
Does it have to do with the
Aggregate
supply
supply.
of money in each consumer's pocket?
Well,
So is it based on the idea that there's
it's-
not enough to go around?
okay, so let's say aggregate demand shifts left. What happens? Our price level went down, but our GDP went down a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
It's this relationship that if you're gonna have low inflation, you're gonna increase your unemployment. As this keeps getting lower and lower and lower, you're gonna get more unemployment. As unemployment becomes less and less and less, inflation is growing. So yeah, unemployment, let's say we could shift it clear out here, aggregate demand, let's say increasing, they drop taxes a bunch and just spent a whole bunch of money. You could potentially have your aggregate demand going clear out there, but what are your prices doing? You have massive inflation. And that is really bad for the economy. So yeah, you've had a GDP pop and your unemployment is lower, but now you have high inflation. You're right here on the curve. Whereas here, you're right here on the curve. So you have to sacrifice one or the other in order to get somewhere. And that's why we have a balance. Like, I think the goal of unemployment is like 4.6%. I can't remember the exact numbers, and this is like 2.5%. So they want to be at the point where this is at 4.6 and this is at 2.5.
Is that based on a yearly?
Yeah, I can't remember. Brother Webb talked about it, but I can't remember the exact numbers that they target. But they target a rate on this Phillips curve where unemployment is here, because if you have zero unemployment, you have way high inflation. But if you have really low inflation, then you have way high unemployment. So they want to find a balance, a good balance that, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Does that make sense? Are you guys getting the relationship?
Something I'm looking into more.
Yeah. That's the concept. If you want low unemployment, it's going to result in high inflation. If you want low inflation, because here's zero, and this is up higher, and this is up higher. If you want lower inflation, you're going to follow the curve, you're going to get higher unemployment.